And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, looky there. We're back. We're live, and it's about time because I think we're about 15 minutes late because my man's got some audio problems.
You know,
I didn't touch anything.
John, it's a total scam what these damn computer companies do, man. I've got an iPad. I've had an iPad Pro for 10 years. It's just 10 years. I only use it for this. I actually bought it for the podcast, and that's it. It just baffles me that like 10 years, all I do is for this. I don't need it for anything else. And for some reason, it doesn't work anymore. So like just randomly it'll shut off. And I'm like, what the hell? Like it hasn't moved. It sits right here. This thing has been right. I don't even take it when I was working for Bellator. I never took it. Left it there. You know, John, when you're not very good at electronics, you know,
yes, I know that.
I know, because you're not.
No.
You like to just leave things where they're at. Don't touch it. If I move it and the plugs get wrong and like anything along those lines, you start to wonder, like, damn.
Total frustration when all of a sudden you do the same thing for 10 times in a row, and then the 11th time it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And then, you know, obviously the solution for anything when you call service, they're like, yeah, turn it all off and turn it back on. I've tried that 10 times. That's why I'm freaking calling you. You think this is my first time? Do you think this is my first time?
That's awesome.
So it's a total scam though, man. Like all of a sudden the software, there's no more software updates for it. It's only 10 years old. There's no more software updates for it. And yeah, they know what they're doing, man.
That's because that way they can get more money out of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These guys are scam artists.
Damn.
Anyways, look, we have a lot to talk about, John. Lots to talk about. You know, we're coming off of a feisty Saturday night, John, you and I. We ruffled feathers a little bit that night. Ooh.
Well,
yeah, you know, it is what it is. Oh,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It was we had a good time though. It was fun, and man, and I also want to say this though, because I had a lot of people. I probably had close to over 100 DMs sending me sincere messages about, hey, sorry for your loss and this and that. And I want to say thank you to everyone. I know I couldn't hit every single name and everything like that, but just so you guys know, the ones that you guys listen to this podcast, you guys took the time out of your day to send me a message and say you were sorry for my loss. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. And John knows that that's the kind of person I am. And those are the things that are important to people in life as they go on throughout their life, you know, and we never know when the last moment is.
No,
and,
you don't.
Yeah. And so, like I said, like the person who was like my mother, she passed and it happened suddenly, literally like suddenly. Like I talked to her for Mother's Day and literally a couple days later, she's gone. And then my grandmother obviously living a very good life, 96 years old. And it was more her
That's
time.
winning.
Yeah, exactly. And for her, it was that. For me, like, you almost are at that position where you're like, man, you know, you lived a great life, and we knew it was getting time, and everyone kind of knew it was time, you know. But with my we call her Grandma Deborah, but like, you know, like my Grandma Deborah, or like my mom, I call her my mom. Is that we didn't think it was time. I just talked to her, spry and conversation and everything. So I just want to say thank you for those of you guys listening to the podcast to send me a message, and I want to say thank you to everybody who did. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And it means a lot. Thank you so much. John, do you there's so many things to talk about. Go. Started though. I want to say, hey, thank you to Element, man. I got another package today. Did you get a package today?
I did. I got a big package.
Yeah, I did too. I got a big one as well. And I want to say thank you to them because they continue to support us. Their lemonade salt, the new one that's out, is absolutely amazing. I'm actually doing a lemonade stand with my kids.
You said that.
Coming up. I cannot wait. And we're going to actually package some packages up this weekend for his whole lacrosse team. The whole team is loving it. So if you got kids that are out there that are doing sports this weekend, especially in Texas, where it's hot and kind of humid right now, John. It's pretty humid here.
Dude, it's humid here. So I believe it's humid there.
It's been awesome, man. My son played lights out last weekend, and you know, a little emotional after losing in the semis. But the rest of it, man, the team dogged up, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them play again this weekend. But
yeah, but they're missing two of their other.
Yeah, two of their best players. Yep. Yeah, but they're back this weekend, and they're all firing all cylinders. I just left the practice, came rushing home to get the filming, and they were wrapping up practice, so they're still there. But it was good. It was good to see them all back together as a big group.
Yeah, I saw that picture of you with Kellen in his jersey there, and I was like, God damn, man, that is a good-looking kid.
He got it from his mama.
I'll tell you what, man. PA did a hell of a job, man. Just a hell of a job.
She did. I say the same thing about Dave's kids.
Yeah.
I sure the hell don't look like
That's
him.
true. That's true.
Yeah, you know. I mean, they got the hairline, I think, from him. I don't know. She's got long hair. She got the hairline. Yeah. She's amazing, man. I don't know how you definitely how do you say? You outpunted the coverage.
Yeah, you hit far above your average.
Yeah, he punched up.
Yeah.
He definitely punched up. So
it's the way to do it. I'm proud of you, baby.
Yeah, well, one of us has to punch up because Josh isn't very good at it.
Whoa.
This guy. He's like an inch taller than me. All of a sudden he's punching up at everything. But hey, we've got the UFC 316 main event. We've got some fight announcements. We're looking forward to talking about those as well.
Yeah.
The fight that we all thought should have happened the first time was Patricio Pitbull and Dan Ige. That has been officially signed, it sounds like, and announced now.
Who would have thought of putting those two guys together, Josh?
I know, man.
I mean, it's like I never even contemplated that.
I mean, Dan Ige called for the fight. I mean, that should let you know, like, that he wants that fight. Those fights motivate him. That's
dude. The thing about it, it's so weird sometimes when you see two guys that are so similar in the way they attack things and where they're strong and where they want the fight to be, and you look and you go, those guys are meant to fight. They are meant to fight.
This is where I'd kind of vented a little bit about the fighters that are not stepping up and and making business decisions, and I was a little fiery on Saturday night.
No, you were more than a little
fiery, yeah. And this is what it comes down to. The UFC sometimes gets into their own way. When fighters are asking for fights, give them that opportunity. Dan Ige asked for that fight because he knew that that's a fighter that's going to spark that interest in me. That's a fighter that's going to bring the best out of me.
$50K Ige, man. He wants another $50,000 bonus. He knows that he needs someone on the other side of the dance line to make that happen.
And Patricio, being the guy that is known to stand, doesn't want to go to the ground. He wants to stand and trade. It just made sense to bring him in on a fight like that versus fighting someone like Yair Rodriguez. That being said, like I said, I've had similar issues with the UFC. And when I tried to fight Anthony Pettis when I first came in. He wasn't champion yet. Then he ends up winning the title. I was all right, cool. Maybe there's an opportunity there, which there was supposed to be. And then Donald Cerrone. I asked for Donald Cerrone. I can't tell you how many times. Never was offered to me. Never was presented to me. I wanted that fight. That was the fight that everyone had talked about, me leaving Strikeforce and going to the UFC. And that's the fight we want to see. It was never offered to me. Got nothing but respect for Donald Cerrone, but that was a fight that I really wanted, that I was really motivated for, to fight someone like him. True legend in the sport, all of those things. Danny Ige has the same type of respect for Patricio Pitbull. We'll get more into that fight breakdown, though, as we move on. But I think the UFC sometimes gets in their own way in these type of situations.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to give them credit. They put it together.
No, you do. But now it's kind of lost a little of its luster, though, John. Like, Patricio coming off the loss.
See, I don't worry about that loss with Yair because I just looked at it, stylistically, where the whole thing was coming from, being Patricio's first fight, all these things. I just look. I know. I have an idea what the outcome is going to be here, and that's okay. How many times have you seen the UFC want to, kind of show that, oh, we've got fighters that will beat this fight. Okay, go ahead. Now you put together the fight that I honestly think, look, they both have power. This is a fight that I guarantee I'm almost going to put my bet down, my guarantee that both guys will go down in this fight.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, I think
it's going to be a fantastic fight.
So do I.
We'll give you the full breakdown after we actually break down the UFC 316 card. So let's go right into this, man. Merab, I'm going to say it like Chael P. Sonnen, Davishvili, okay? And in fight number 2, how do you see this fight happening? And do you think there's going to be a difference?
I think if you look at the 5th round of their first, because you're going into the 6th round is the way I look at it. If you look at the 5th round, did Sean O'Malley learn anything in that round? I think he did. He learned, there's certain things that I need to be effective with that work against Merab. Now, work against Merab is also, Merab was a little bit more tired, and it's not like I'm saying that oh, he was exhausted. Merab's got a gas tank from hell, but he was slowing down. The teep kicks to the midsection had a true effect, and you could see that it was a tool that I think he's going to try to use more now in this fight. I love the fact that Sean O'Malley stopped smoking. Okay, I'm not saying I don't have a problem with someone smoking, but especially when you're, coming up on a camp and everything, and then going in camp, you just, clear everything out. He stopped all that stuff. He stopped the social media. He put himself in a position, hey, this is the most important thing in my life right now. And that's what he needs to do, because all the other stuff, being the, Sugar Sean and all that stuff, it's taxing and it takes away attention from what is important. And so I love the fact that he has basically, shown that, hey, this is what's important to me, getting my title back. And he's going to have to do it against a guy who is just, he's a motor, man. He's a small block V8 that just keeps on freaking putting out horsepower, because Merab is at right now, he is as good as he's ever been and looking great, because the people that he has been beating are really freaking good. Yeah.
I mean, I was on the phone the other day with Uncle Chael, and Uncle Chael and I were chatting about this whole conversation with the fight. And I don't think him and I don't see eye to eye. He thinks there's going to be a difference. He thinks that Sean O'Malley is going to have a great performance, and he thinks that Sean O'Malley is going to be a different person. And I agree with him on that aspect of it all. But what I saw in that fight was, will he be able to stop the takedowns? Now, I think where you're going to see the difference is that Merab is going to be able to, he's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive on the takedowns.
Yep.
Not knowing that, Sean was hurt the first time, but now knowing that he was, and the takedowns came a little easier and he wasn't able to get up. Now I need to make sure it's a focus on getting these and grinding these takedowns out. You can't shoot recklessly, but he's got to make it more of a focus. I know he was dominant in the first fight. He did wilt a little bit in that 5th round, with the push kicks up the middle, the tip kicks to the body. But don't think that Sean's not going to forget that. He obviously remembers.
Sure.
The tip kicks worked really well. The knee up the middle worked really well. Those are all things that we were told by Tim Welsh, his coach, that he just wasn't able to do because of the hip. His hip issue, the labrum tear, I think was in his hip, having the surgery and getting back on track for his training camp for this fight. Understand that he can get back into wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, all those things, stepping away from outside distractions and making the focus family and training. That's a motivated young man. And John, I was watching the breakdown on the 24/7 basically of their fight last night. He almost convinced me again, John. Listen to Sean O'Malley. You almost got me.
Jumping right over the fence to that side.
Yeah. He almost got me, John. He almost got me, man. And I was just like, I could just see it. I look at it like if we see the movement, the speed in which we saw against Peter Yan, and then we saw against Aljamain Sterling, the timing on the striking, the movement, keep him guessing, all of those things, which he didn't have in the first fight. And not knowing that he had a hip tear and all the other stuff, I just think we're going to see a better Sean O'Malley. But like I said, I go back to my original question. Is a better Sean O'Malley good enough to beat Merab?
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to, when you sit there and you look and you go, is Merab beatable? Yes. Every human is, it's been proven before in the past that, he can be beaten. You just got to bring your A game and be ready for a freaking, just a war, because he's going to be coming after you, and he's got a gas tank and he doesn't stop. He never quits. And you got to love that about him. That's what makes him, this is where, just look at the difference in these two. You take a look at Sean O'Malley and you take a look at the glitz and the glam and everything that came with, his rise of, look, he's slick and he does all these cool things, and he's got, all this personality off to the side, where Merab was the blue collar guy. He was the working man. He was the guy that, just came in there and ground it out, and, supreme effort got him wins. But then his personality kind of got in, but it wasn't that, hey, look how cool I am. It was the ability to laugh at himself, the ability to, show that, I like to have fun, the ability to, laugh not only at himself, but at others at the same time and bring them into it. He's a superstar now. It's just happened in a different way than what happened with Sean O'Malley. So I just look at this, as a fight. We've seen it. I'm not too sure that it's going to be any different in the end, just because styles make fights. Could the hip problem be that big of a difference in it? It can. It can definitely be with your movement and your kicks and everything. So I look at it and say, I'm going to give that Sugar Sean's going to be just a touch better, but that doesn't mean that Merab isn't going to be a touch better, because he's the champ now. And when you become the champ, you become a touch better.
Yeah, John, I look at it. I think a lot of what we saw in the 5th round was a little bit of a frustration from Sean O'Malley was the kicks. He didn't get to use them a whole lot in the beginning, in the first portion of the fight. And he was like, just throw caution to the wind. A lot more push kicks, a lot more kicks, suck up maybe on the pain, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he had success.
Yeah.
That's where he almost got me last night when I'm watching that documentary. I'm like, or that show. It's literally like the kicks were the key. Using the long range jabs and the boxing, and then using those kicks, the push kick up the middle and the knee up the middle is going to be huge in this fight. Merab dips his head. Merab's also a shorter fighter. The body's wide open. Merab does a lot of this with his hands up, elbows out. So there's a lot of opportunity there to be had to kick to the body, as well as land the push kick up the middle to the face, the knee up the middle, all of those things, tip kick to the body. Like, it's all accessible now with him being healthy. The speed, the movement, and I mean the ability to hopefully stop takedowns, because he's going to need that. He's going to need that the most out of everything. He's going to need to be able to.
If he doesn't stop the takedowns, he's not going to win the fight.
Yeah, exactly. So, John, I'm about to say it. I think
I'm going to go
with Sean O'Malley. I
There
think
you
I'm
go.
going to go with Sean O'Malley, man. I mean, look, anytime you see somebody who's young like him, extremely talented, but just somebody who is now just refocused. It seems like he's put a little bit more priorities in place. Now, that may all change if he gets the win. He may go back to being what he used to do before. Some people do that. Like, I had to get focused, get my title back, and I'll just go ahead and go back to doing what I'm doing. He can be Sugar Sean, though, in between the fights. When it comes fight time, you have to remember what pays the bills and what takes care of your family, all of those things. Now, doesn't mean you can't have, like DC and Kane, they were never really on social media during their fight camps. But what they did do is they had someone that came through and filmed and edited the videos. They had someone that came in and filmed the whole AKA. And then they just took clippets, and the guy created the clippets, and all he had to do was just post. And sometimes they gave him the password or to collaborate with or whatever it is. It made it easier for them to accept it. Yeah. They could just post it. So then they posted it, and it just made it easy for the athletes to not have to be involved. And it worked out perfectly, I think. So that might be something an avenue Sean takes, with his coach Tim, and maybe they just collab on everything. So it's less work for Sean to do it. And then it's easier for him to, Tim can go ahead and take that side. I love what they're doing in their community, though. I love what Sean is doing in the community in terms of, having his gym, his location, and it definitely breeds in that new generation, and it makes you accessible to your community. That's very important, extremely important. And so I like seeing that. I saw also too, there was a video going around of Sean O'Malley, at a
dance.
Like a dance with
special needs.
People. Yeah, special needs kids, people. Awesome. And I thought it was amazing. I thought him being out there, having a good time, dancing with, like, that lets you know, like, it's almost carefree, John.
Yeah.
Everything else he's doing right now, he's having fun. So good for him. Good for him. Big night though, Saturday night. You're going Merab, or you going with Sean?
Well, now that you have switched sides,
you don't have to. You don't have to,
because Uncle Chael has talked you into Sugar Sean. I totally think that, like I said, everything that Sean O'Malley's done, I really love. But now that both you and Chael are on his train, that's like a Drake putting a big money bet down. I'm going Merab all the way.
Really? Wow. You're just going the other way because of me.
No, both you and Chael.
Oh, me and Chael.
Yeah, because Chael's wrong 90% of the time.
No, 98% of the time. 98% of the time. And I mean, I'm pretty much par for the course. So, I'm gonna, like, John, if you're looking at the betting odds though, it's -275, and you got a +226. I mean, does that seem fair to you given the first fight?
Yeah, it does. I mean, given the first fight, that's why you have it. Because be honest, when you look back at that fight, you could really, a lot of people are sitting there saying, "Oh no, Sean O'Malley, he won 2 rounds. He won 3 rounds." No, he won 1 round, really. The other ones, you want to give him another round, great. But really, Merab was the guy that was dictating the fight. He was the one in control of the fight. He was the one that was landing the more, damaging blows when he was landing. He landed the takedowns. So you got to look and say, man, if Sean O'Malley, is not able to change the course of what happened in the first fight, you're just gonna have a repeat.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think minus 275 is pretty fair given the first fight. I think that's really what they're taking a look at. They can't. There's not much. There's no sample size of what his hip was like now.
No.
They don't know. But you can only go back though and see how he's had success against other fighters that were wrestlers and how he was able to stuff the takedowns. Any of those things. Still, Merab is the guy that is just people don't have the answer for. The cardio, the push, all of those things. But John, it's a minus 275 on the over at 4.5. Does that seem fair too? You think this fight's going the distance?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do too. I see that as well. I think Sean has a chance. If anyone finishes anyone, I think Sean has a chance of finishing him. But it's going to be very difficult because even if you do rock him, Merab will start chasing legs.
Yeah, and he recovers because he's in such good condition. His recovery is very good.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Look, this is one of those fights that I think it snuck up on us pretty fast. I didn't realize it was already here. I knew like 316 was coming up. I was like, wait, is it this weekend? Is this the Merab and O'Malley fight? And it snuck up on me and it's here. This fight has me excited because I think we are going to get a different Sean O'Malley. We're going to get a better Sean O'Malley. It's just a matter of whether it'll be a good enough Sean O'Malley to beat Merab.
One of the things you have to think about though also is Sean O'Malley's going into basically Merab's hometown. I know when you want to say this is his second home. This is where he started out, in New Jersey, basically with, Ray Longo and Matt Serra and all them. That was, he's used to the East Coast there. They love him on the East Coast. So he is definitely going to have the crowd behind him for this fight.
Yeah. You think so?
He will.
I don't know, man. Jersey's kind of weird.
Yeah, no.
John, Jersey's kind of weird.
Jersey is definitely going to be in the champs corner.
Really? I think you're going to end up with a lot of Sugar Sean fans.
No, I think you'll have fans, but
John,
they're definitely going to be outnumbered.
Orange. Like
what's that?
I said in Jersey Shore, people walk around there orange. Like they spray paint themselves so much, spray tan themselves so much they're orange.
Yeah.
This dude here, I mean, like he's, Sean's got all the tattoos and the pink hair and everything. Like, man, they're gonna jump on the Sean wagon, man. The Sugar Sean wagon.
No, we'll see, won't we? Because I honestly think, man, you're gonna have a definite, decided advantage as far as hometown with Merab.
We're gonna see. That's the thing. We're going to see Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison is the next fight up in the co-main event.
How do you see this? Come on.
How do I see it?
Yeah. How do you see it? Look at Julia Pena. Here's the thing. And this is
Dave, you like how he asked me and then he go right ahead and just answered.
Well, you go, but I mean, Julia Pena has done it all. She really has.
Yeah.
You got to give her credit. First off, she talks nothing but mad snap. Okay, she won the Ultimate Fighter when she wasn't supposed to be the one to win the Ultimate Fighter, and she did so handily. She really did. She comes out, she beats Amanda Nunes in the bantamweight division to take the title. Now she lost it back to her. Yes, it happens, but she did beat her. She's just, and you can take a look at throughout her career, the people that she has beaten. She's damn good. But the problem is she's going up against Kayla Harrison. And wherever she's strong, Kayla's strong. And Kayla is a beast. Go ahead.
Look, to me, this is a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I don't think
it truly is.
I don't think so. And I really appreciate everything that Juliana Pena brings.
I look normal circumstances, I would say absolutely. And I physically, yes, she is. But John, we haven't physically seen her get to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. With this amount of weight cut.
Well, 3rd round we have.
Luke Thomas brought up a very good point. She used to compete at 170 pounds.
Yeah, in judo. Yeah.
Yeah. That's 40 pounds that she is cutting. So I think she competed at 172 or 174. John, that's 40 pounds that she has lost since then.
Yeah.
And so she is depleting her body. And as a female, that is drastic. Like, John, you know, even at your old fucking age, you could probably lose 40 pounds right now. And you have. Like, I've seen
hell no, man.
Yeah, you could. You could.
No, I need to, but I couldn't do it.
But I look at this and I think to myself, Kayla Harrison, to me, in the first 2 rounds, has a really good chance of getting her out of there. Rounds 2, maybe 2.5. After that, I go back to the sample size. I haven't seen a big enough sample size at 135 pounds.
Okay, I understand your sample size, and I totally understand what you're saying. Because Josh, this is what
raise me a sample size. Is that what you're about to say?
No, this is what I was saying before she ever fought Holly Holm. Is I was concerned, absolutely concerned that, hey, it's too much weight for her to lose. She's not going to be the same person. She proved me wrong with that Holly Holm fight.
No, she doesn't return your texts now because of it.
That's true. And so, you know, I just look and, you know, hey, I got the sample size. She showed that she was just able to make the weight. She looked good making the weight. She didn't look like she was dying. She looked worse the second time against Vieira as far as, you know, losing stuff, but there was other things involved with what was going on. So I just look and go, you know, she is so mentally strong. She can do whatever she wants to do. And she wanted to go to 135. She has proven that she can get to 135. Physically, there's nobody at 135 pounds that can do the things that she can do. She is just that unique and that physically strong. That's hard for other people to make up. Now, it does matter if she gets tired, that all goes away. But I don't think she's going to get tired with Juliana.
Well, I think even if she does get tired, I think she'll be able to still win 3 rounds. And that's where I lean more towards hers, because I don't think that she's going to get so fatigued, and she has such grit in her. She'll be able to find a way to get through the rounds 4 and 5 if she gets so super exhausted in the first 3. She's a world-class athlete, John. They find ways to conserve energy in moments that people don't think of. And that's where she's been. She's been that way in judo. She's been that way at PFL. She may get tested here in this fight to have to deal with it this way.
She could. You know? I mean, look, Juliana's good.
Mm-hmm.
She's freaking good. She's proved, you know, I don't know what you have to do to prove that, hey, I'm a good freaking fighter. But I think Juliana's done all those things to prove it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing you can take away from Juliana Pena. I think as the fight goes on, if she's able to keep space from Kayla Harrison in rounds 3, 4, and 5 and make it like a dog fight like she did against Amanda Nunes, that's where I feel like Kayla Harrison will have some problems. Is the long range boxing, the ability to like just stay away from her, because we've seen the grit of Juliana Pena is like, I'll take a shot to deliver a shot. I'll take 2 shots to give you 1 shot and just see what happens. I mean, did anyone see her doing what she did to Amanda Nunes? Like, rocking her on the feet,
then go back, because when she fought her a second time, all those things that worked for her the first time didn't work the second time.
No, I agree.
So
I saw that fight, John. I'm just simply saying that the person that person that shows up though, she finds ways to get under people's skin. She finds ways
she finds a lot of ways to get under people's skin. That's one of the best parts about her.
She does it during the fight. This is what women's MMA is missing. It's not just women's MMA. Some of the men's MMA is missing this back and forth battle. The people that are willing to go out there and die on their shield kind of thing. Juliana Pena has that.
Oh yeah, she got a sharp tongue.
Yeah, she got a sharp tongue, but she's also someone that like she will take a freaking beating. We saw it against Amanda Nunes in the second fight. Yeah. She took a freaking beating.
But see, and exactly what you're saying. She showed exactly what her heart has, and what she'll bring to that cage, and she has no quit.
No, none.
Yeah.
So this does make it for me. It makes it a very interesting fight. I give it to Kayla Harrison the first 3 rounds, only because I haven't seen her after the weight cut in rounds 4 and 5. But like you did, I will say, like you pointed out, she looked fantastic against Holly Holm.
Yep.
In the rounds that she fought in that fight, she didn't look tired. She looked fatigued, but she also dominated that fight from beginning to end. Will she be able to dominate Juliana Pena? Juliana Pena's, to me, from what I saw, her whole mentality is going to be to stay out of the clinch. It's going to be like try and box her ears off. It's going to try to make her uncomfortable on the feet. Because John, you know, and I know, if you're a good jiu-jitsu person or a good judo person and you don't have great stand-up, or even a good wrestler, and you don't have great stand-up, your energy, your tank starts to go down pretty rapidly when you start taking shots. Because the panic sets in. Man, I can't get the takedowns. Man, I can't close the distance. I'm taking all these shots. And it's like that video game, right? It just, the power line just starts going down and your stress of you getting knocked out starts to build up. And Juliana Pena did that to Amanda Nunes the first time. Like, she was able to start rocking her, start touching her. And then you could see Amanda Nunes going, shit, what is going on? How am I losing to this girl right now? And next thing you know, she's winning the title. And in this situation, Kayla has all the experience, all the top level competition in the world. You can say all those things, but how will she be when she's the one being pushed back? How will she be the one, when she's taking shots? If she will be, we may not see that. But I'm saying, if Juliana can implement that game plan in the first 3 rounds and make it hard and difficult for Kayla to get to the takedown or get to the clinch, we could be looking at a different fight. That's why I said from the beginning, to me, this is a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I don't see it as
40 Kayla. Maybe 60-40.
Yeah, I have to give the advantage towards Kayla. You know, it's just everything points that way. And it's again, that's taking nothing away from Juliana Pena, because I love her as a fighter. I love everything that she brings to the sport, you know, and she's got the dog in her. There's no doubt about it. And it's not the way she looks.
Yeah, no. Kayla Harrison is a minus 800 and Juliana Pena is a plus 525.
See, that's I mean, if you recall, for a while, you know, we had that mix up where it was switched, but I believe that we started off at a minus 500 with Kayla. It's now at minus 8, so money's just coming in on Kayla Harrison.
I mean, there's a lot of reason to have that, because, you know, she comes from a great team. She's got everyone working around her. I know Juliana Pena, she's done some work with Bilal Muhammad, trains out there with that, you know, with him as well. You've got the over on this at 4.5 as a plus 146. You see this fight going the distance?
I honestly don't.
I don't either.
I think there will be a finish in this one.
Yeah, I actually believe so too.
Yeah.
I think either the physical strength of Kayla is going to get the takedown, get to the back, and be able to finish her, or ground and pound her out with some nasty ground and pound, or elbows. Elbows, or Juliana's going to be able to tire her out and try to get to her back, or try to touch her up.
Yeah.
So we could potentially see that as well. I think that fight gets a finish.
One thing that you do have to watch out for with Kayla, you know, it was Ronda Rousey's specialty, that arm bar. She's very slick at, you know, setting that arm bar up, and when she grabs a hold of it, she doesn't give a whole lot of space.
Yeah.
So,
well, something to definitely take a look into. We've got the fight that was actually supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, then got pushed. Got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer.
Man, you know, again, here's my Roberto Duran. I love Kelvin Gastelum. I just look at Joe Pyfer at this point. This is a very difficult fight. For Kelvin Gastelum. Pyfer is going to be way bigger than Kelvin is. You're going to see a huge size advantage towards Pyfer. He's strong. He hits like a truck. The real question is, you know, I've heard all kinds of things coming out of Philly. Look, he's got a gas tank. We have seen him get tired, but, you know, there was the whole thing of he, you know, was sick and took antibiotics, and you know it wrecks people.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'll buy into it and I'll say, okay, show it to me. But I think Joe Pyfer in this match is the guy that should come out on top.
Yeah, I think the overall physical strength of Joe Pyfer, I think also too, like his ability to stuff takedowns, his ability to go ahead and put so much pressure and land big shots. We've seen him have success in the first round against top level competition. Kelvin Gastelum, Getting a little bit older. Also, I wouldn't say slowing down because he's got a lot of the great movements, all of those things. But he's just that tweener. He's that in-betweener who should be a 70-pounder, struggles to make the weight. He's fighting at 85. It's too small for 85. It's just too big of a jump. I understand that situation. So Kelvin Gastelum, I think in the first round, he's going to have to make sure he doesn't get clipped, doesn't get hit, and survives. After the first round, I'll start leaning a little bit more towards him.
Okay.
Only because of what we've seen before in the past with Joe Pyfer getting tired.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to rule Joe out yet, man. Pyfer is someone who is, like you said, everyone talks about how great he is in the gym.
Yeah. But, how many guys have you known that in the gym, they just do it all.
Yeah.
They're so good. And then you put them under the lights and it's just a little bit different. And some guys, it's a lot different. But I think Joe Pyfer is, I think he's the coming. He just needs to get that, not confidence. I believe he's got the confidence, but he's got to know. Look, I beat a guy that was there. And Kelvin Gastelum's that guy.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough guy to beat because, like you said, he can take a shot. He will deliver shots.
Yep.
Kelvin can wrestle a little bit. I don't think he wants to wrestle with Joe Pyfer, but he's got to make sure he keeps his head offline so he's not getting the big shot. Let's not forget, man, Mr. Body Bags, he's got big hands. He's got big power. And he's only 28 years old. Yeah. He's just getting into his prime.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be learned right now in these moments. This is a new experience for him. It's a lot. You're fighting someone like Kelvin Gastelum who's fought everybody.
Yep. Just go back to the Israel Adesanya fight.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know about Kelvin Gastelum.
I agree. That's going to be a great fight, man. I'm excited for that fight. John, we've been waiting
almost as excited as
this next one. And the reason why, look, I know most of you guys are probably like, oh, why are you so excited about this fight? Batista didn't have a great fight against Jose Aldo. Patchy Mix is pretty much unknown.
No, but he's really good.
But this is a good fight. I think
we're
going to see. Yeah. For me, it's the excitement because I know Patchy Mix. We've called a lot of his fights working at Bellator. We know what kind of person he is. We know his level in which he can compete. But there's something to be said about going to a new promotion and trying to deliver the same things you delivered in another promotion. Yeah. We've seen fighters come over and have success, and we've seen fighters not, come over and not have any success. We've seen fighters leave the UFC and go to PFL and leave Bellator and not have any success either. And so it does make a difference on where you fight and how you can make it feel like home as fast as possible. I think the one thing to take away from this is Patchy Mix he's pretty much been kind of involved in the UFC situation for the longest time. He trains at Couture's. He trains with all the guys that are fighting in the UFC. He knows what his level is. My only concern is he may go in too confident. He may go in going like, look, I've trained with all these guys that are your champions right now and other guys that you guys have been former champions, and I do just fine with them. That scares me a little bit, John, because you and I have been at the table with him several times and have a conversation about how confident is this young man?
Super confident.
Yeah.
I mean, ultra confident. And so, but he deserves to be. He is that good. But you don't take that and then give a negative towards the guy he's facing in Mario Batista, because Mario Batista is good. People may not have liked his last fight against Aldo. And again, just like you were talking about, being young, Mario Batista's young. Going up against Aldo, you're looking, you're standing across the cage from a guy that you have watched since you were younger, before you were ever in the UFC, and he was a champion, and you're going, holy shit, that's Jose Aldo. And you know what? You're trying not to make a mistake. And by not making mistakes, you're not fighting the way that you can actually fight and compete, and it becomes a boring fight. Everybody that is around Mario Batista, you're talking about John Crouch, you're talking about Benson Henderson, all these guys, look, they're going to have him ready for Patchy Mix, because Benson Henderson has been around Patchy Mix. He knows how good he is. John Crouch is no fool. He knows exactly what Patchy Mix brings to the table. So looking at it, you're going, hey, we got a guy that he can wrestle. Okay, so I need to force Patchy Mix into a stand-up fight. That's where I believe that I'm going to be able to be successful against this guy. If I let this fight go to if I start doing what is the strong suit for me and I start wrestling against him and we go to the ground, I got a real problem with the way this guy moves on the ground, the way he takes the back, the things that he does that are just a little bit different than other people, that are going to be difficult for my guy to deal with. I've got, I'm going to try to make it to where Mario is, hey, defensive wrestling and being on your, on your best to keep this thing on your feet for as long as possible. Put, shots on him, make him start to be concerned with where the fight is taking place and make him start to have to push. That's when the fight starts going your way.
Yeah, you've got to make him fight an uncomfortable fight on the feet. I just don't know if Mario Batista has the striking to do that.
I don't know either. Based upon what, you can go back to the Juan Archuleta fight with Patchy Mix. And Juan's not bad on his feet. Juan's got a lot of movement and he's, in and out. He's keeps his head off the center line. He's not easy to hit. But, for the first 2 rounds, it was all Patchy Mix. And then it was, after not being able to submit somebody and getting frustrated, you saw the frustration happen. But how old was Patchy Mix at that time? You're talking about now 6-7 years later. Okay. He's a completely different fighter. And is he going to make the same mistakes? We're going to find out.
Yeah, I don't think he'll make the same mistakes. I think he's going to have a hard time staying away from his reach. His ability to grab a hold of the top of your head, pull your head down to guillotine level. And that body style is just dangerous, especially when you're a top level grappler. Yeah. And I mean, I've said this, I don't know how many times, multiple times, is that to me, he's the best grappler in the sport right now. Patchy Mix, the best MMA grappler. Now you can have better guys that have better qualifications and better credentials, but it doesn't mean that they know how to make it translate to an actual real fight. Patchy Mix knows how to do that. So this is going to be a fun fight. I know there's a lot of naysayers. I saw the comment section, man. I was reading it in between all the love I was getting on the, blessing my family and stuff. But yeah, it was
they were hammering you on this.
Yeah, no, they were hammering on this though. So I appreciate some of you guys kept it to MMA, which was nice. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight no matter what. Batista's no walkover. I'm obviously going to lean towards Mix because I think Batista, there's too many things he has to do to avoid getting his neck caught, getting his back taken. And I've seen Patchy Mix take down top level wrestlers and control them and dominate them. So there's fights, man.
You can go and if you want to listen, start listening to some of the guys that are, part of the UFC, some of the fighters, some of the commentators, guys that are now all excited that Patchy Mix is part of the bantamweight division and now saying, oh, I've been watching this guy, man, he's so good at this. They're not lying. They see the same thing. When you see a fighter and you watch them move and you see how they do some different transitions, and it's a transition that you go, how the fuck did he get there? And those are the ones that you look and you go, oh, I cannot wait to see this kid. And they've been waiting, and now they have their chance. And he's going up against a stud in Mario Batista. But I think Patchy Mix, I truly believe he's going to show people exactly what he's made of and who he is. And they're going to be, glad to have him in that bantamweight division.
Got it. I agree. You got Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland.
Man, yeah, I look at this and Kevin Holland, you look and you go, Kevin, are you going to fight a smart fight? Kevin, are you going to be smart in what you do in this fight? Just not too sure that he is. Vicente Luque he's just solid. He's basics. He's solid in his basics. He's got very good stand-up as far as it's tight. He throws good combinations. He's, throws a lot of straight shots, not a lot of looping things. And when he goes to the ground, he goes to just basic certain things. He hits the Darce. He hits the Anaconda. He's good at attacking the neck in certain positions. And I just look and I go, overall, I think Kevin Holland's got all kinds of, abilities to win this fight. But when it comes to being smart about winning it, I don't see it. And I lean towards Vicente Luque.
Oh, okay. I'm going to take Kevin Holland though.
Okay. I understand why.
I'm going to take the Kevin Holland that I saw fight last fight. Okay. And he seemed like he's back on track, a little bit more fighter IQ. I think he's the return of the Mac. I think he's ready to go, man. He's back on track. The very first Kevin Holland that we saw, the guy who knocked out Jacare Silva, the guy, just guys that are ready to fight, man. Yeah. And I think he's going to take it more serious. I think there might have been a conversation between him and the UFC, and just having these conversations about how, like, hey, like, we love having you, but you got to take this more serious.
Yeah.
We need to have you, like, you're someone we can work with and have, help keep the promotion going. But you got to win fights. And that's a hard thing to have a conversation with a fighter. Like, we paid you all this money before. Don't make us regret that we paid you all this money and now you're jerking off. Yeah. We've got to keep you on track because people love you. We love John. Every time he's on the card, we look forward to watching him fight.
I absolutely love watching Kevin Holland. My biggest problem with Kevin Holland is the frustration of which Kevin Holland shows up sometimes. Yeah. And just, you look and you go, what are you doing? Yeah. Because he is talented, man. He's got good movement in the stand-up. He's got his length is freaking awesome. He's got power in his hands. He's got a good ground game as far as his jiu-jitsu. His wrestling is, if you're going to say what's his weakest, element, it's his wrestling. But overall, man, he's talented.
Did you say element? Because I just so happen to be drinking some. Nice little slide in right there. You guys use the link down below in our descriptions. They'll give you a bonus package with every purchase. Check it out, man. It's a sample bonus package, so it gives you like all the flavors from the chocolate to the grapefruit to everything. So they'll send you a bonus package with every purchase through that link down below. Hit that up. John, I don't see there it is right here. They got Kevin Holland at a -280. Over a +230 for Vicente Luque. The over at 1.5 is -175. I see this fight going over 1.5 and -175. Yeah. But I'm going to be honest. I can see why they have Kevin Holland at a -280. I'm leaning towards Kevin Holland. I think the speed, that's where Vicente Luque lacks, is the speed. He has a hard time with guys that are long rangey as well. Kevin's got to use that to his advantage. Yep. And I think Kevin Holland on top will be dangerous. Vicente Luque has a tendency to sometimes just settle in on the bottom. You can't afford to do that with Kevin Holland because Kevin can just stand over him and punch him.
Yeah, I was going to say, with his length, you don't want him on top, with the ability to do that. It's not good.
Nope, not at all. So, what was the next fight? Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van.
I actually like this fight. I like Bruno Silva. I'm just not too sure that the style-wise, this is a good fight for him. Mm-hmm. Joshua Van has proven to be very, very durable. He's got very good stand-up. His ground game has gotten better. He's a die on your shield guy. He goes after it in the fight. It's one of the things I love about him. I just looking at everything right now is pointing towards, in my opinion, Joshua Van getting a win over Bruno Silva. But Bruno Silva's got the ability to hurt anybody, and he could absolutely take Van out. I just look at Joshua Van right now is just fighting too well.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Joshua Van runs away with this, actually.
Yeah.
I think he's just on another level right now. His confidence is through the roof. I don't see any, I don't know. Outside of getting clipped, that's the only thing I can see. I can't think of another way. Like, Joshua Van, though, is the better boxer on the feet. He's got better stand-up. He's a cleaner, crisper fighter. He's a good takedown defense. Yeah, I'm leaning toward Joshua Van. Just the confidence is there, and it's just something I can see them building on. So, good fight for him. I think it'll be a good fight for him. John, any other fights on here you wanted to chat about?
Yeah, you got to give it up for you're going to see I'm going to screw it up, but it's the light heavyweight. He's undefeated.
Dave
took it away from me.
Oh, this one up here?
Yeah, Azmat. Yeah, Mirzakhanov. He's good. He doesn't look like anything, but man, he is durable. He's tough. He hits hard. He's 14-0 for a reason. He is the real deal. He's just a guy you look at, you go, he looks like a dad from the park. And man, he freaking can fight. So he's fighting Brenson Barrio. Brenson is good, but I don't think he's gonna be able to last.
The Spivak and Cortez Acosta kind of is a fun fight.
It is.
It's a fun fight,
but it's one of those. Is Acosta able to keep it on the feet and use his stand up, or is Sergey gonna be able to just grab a hold of him, take him down? He's got a lot of good foot sweeps, a lot of good judo throws. He does things in an unorthodox style, and once he's on top, he's a problem for people. So
the fight that's not getting any love is the Kong Wang versus Ariana Lipski de Silva. It's got a real long name.
And all of a sudden now it's de Silva at the end of it. Why?
It's a Lipski de Silva. It's not even just de Silva. It's Lipski de Silva.
Well, you got to add more names all the time. It makes you, more
my
popular.
My poor kids, man, have such super long names.
Do they?
2 first names plus the middle name and then the last name. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I said, if you guys ever want to do like Hangman, like that game's still around, like they call it something else now because they don't want kids to be called.
Oh my God.
My gosh, you guys.
Okay.
Fucking retarded.
Yes. Fucking retarded.
It's so dumb. But look, Kong Wang's got some power. She's fun to watch fight. Lipski is someone she's got good stand-up. She's moves all the way around. She's really good. So that I feel like that should be a good female fight coming into to kind of help open up the card. Should be an entertaining fight. They should be both getting after it. So it should be a fun fight.
I agree.
All right. Hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC 316 talk. If you guys are in the comment section, I see you guys bickering, man, in the comment section. You guys getting after it. I forgot to actually check it until right now. But, man, let's have some fun with this. But before we go ahead and move on, I know you guys are watching us over at OnlyFans. Make sure you guys subscribe to us over there. If you are not already subscribed, those of you guys listen to us inside the platform on YouTube, head on over to OF. You guys can follow us and subscribe to us over there. We've been partnered with them for the longest time now, about 2 years. We were the very first podcast to ever partner with OnlyFans. And we've started helping other fighters get on their platform and other sports creators as well. So there's a whole little sport network on there that people don't realize and know about. So make sure you guys head on over there. You guys get some extra information or extra content available from those sports athletes over there. Check them out. So I want to thank you guys. You guys continue to support us. We've got a good following over there, Dave. It's actually grown significantly. We're doing pretty well on that platform. I love it. I love it. Anyways, our live show airs over there. So if you're ever in need and you want to head over there, and we get some fan questions from over there as well. We have a tendency to we have two. So you want to go ahead and
I'll let you finish it. Let finish. I'm just letting you know that we have them there, and that's where you can get them in. So
cool. Yeah. So if you guys go ahead and head over to OnlyFans, drop your fan questions over there, and we'll go ahead and pull those from there as well. We make sure that that's a little bit more of a priority. We're also to our members. If you guys are a member on our YouTube channel, subscribe to us. We will try and get most of the time we get to your guys' questions on YouTube. So make sure you guys hit us up as well there. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support us. And Dave, what do you got for us, man? You got some fan questions.
Yep. Old Man Dave. So some of these are not questions. It's just people have just shot over some super chats. Old Man Dave. Good things are worth the wait. XOXOXO. That's in response to Josh being hella late.
Yeah, he's talking about that I'm a good thing being worth the wait. I'm the good thing.
In the granite. Let's get it, Savages. Giovanni Perez. Josh, thanks for giving props to the wrestlers in MMA and Jake Shields. He's a local legend out here. Condolences to your fam. Life is short, but you guys but guys like you inspire me to take better care of myself. That's it.
Yeah. We try. I mean, it's important to take care of your body, man. Look, I get up every morning now. I'm like, oh, it's funny. I sit on the edge of the bed and I'm like, oh, fuck. And my wife's like, you say that every morning. I'm like, yeah, because every morning I feel like this every morning, so the low back, the ankles are the worst thing. Cause I kicked so much when I was fighting. So my ankles, man, I can't even walk up this flight of stairs without it popping and popping and popping. Crazy Bob used to laugh at me. I was like 22, 23 years old. My ankles would pop. He's like, what the hell? You're already broken. What are we going to do with you? You're already broken at 22, 23 years old. So what other questions you got for us?
In the granite, here's another 54. Kick it in, good people. I don't know what that means. And Alejandro Gutierrez. If the commission clears Merab and his compromised toe, if Sean stomps the toe, will that affect Merab's movement? Can they stop the fight, and who wins?
John, here's the thing. Are they going to let him tape it? Like buddy tape it to the next toe?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. That's one thing. Two is Merab to me kind of plays off on this gimmick situation. I wonder if it's even broken. Did he put some makeup on it? Did he shade it? No, I'm just saying he does things he's on the social media now. So little things like that. I also was this a jab? Was this a jab at Conor McGregor? Oh, look, I'm gonna fight. My toe's broken. My pinky. I almost felt like it was two birds with one stone. Like I'm letting everyone know my toe's broken, but it's not really broken. and I'm gonna still fight just as like a little jab at Connor.
Yeah, look at I don't know. All I know is his toe broke a couple of weeks ago. If it did, it's a little toe. He's fine. It's not going to be any kind of problem for him. He's not a huge kicker, anyways.
He's a
as far
wrestler,
as
though,
that.
John.
Yeah, trust me. You know, look at there's how many times have you seen people do nasty things to their feet in fighting? Okay, I've seen toes. You know, not only that are going in the opposite direction. Some of them are actually compounded. You know, you see a lot of different things happen. He'll be fine.
I was in training one time and I kicked someone's elbow, and I had shin guards on. I had the pad over the foot, and I had to pull out of a UFC fight. I had a softball size lump on the top of my foot.
Top of your foot, yeah.
And Sean Shelby's like, "Okay, can I see a picture of it? You know, like, do we?" And I sent the picture to him. He's like, "Okay, he's fine. He doesn't have to fight." It was that, the UFC, right? Like, let's get him to a doctor. Let's have our doctors look at him. Yeah. We'll get the report we want to see. I sent him a picture, and he's like, "Yeah, he's out." Like, literally, it was like the week before the fight.
Yeah,
like, yeah, we're not taking any chances. We're good. But
so
I was. What's that?
So what's the answer to his question about Merab? Can he stomp the toe? And
sure,
he can stomp the toe.
And once you're in the fight,
the rules don't change because you walk in there with a boo boo.
Yeah, okay. Like Sean O'Malley's hip hurt last time. Should they just close that? So then Sean,
you can't take him down because it's not fair. His hips don't move.
Touch my hip.
What would need to happen, John? This is just based. I'm trying to extend this question here, but he says, can they stop the fight and who wins? What would need to happen for them to like say, hey, that's too affected too much?
It's as simple as this. If Merab in any fashion during the fight starts to point out that his toe is affecting him in the fight, and that, like, tells the referee, hold on, my toe. This is something that in the back we talk about with the fighters, and it's a matter of if you have anything that happens to your fingers or toes, you have a finger that gets dislocated, a toe that gets dislocated, and you want to stay in the fight, just continue on in the fight. If don't sit there and try to bring it to my attention. I will see it, and I can always decide if I want to stop the fight and bring you over to a ringside physician to see if they'll allow you to continue on. Or I can decide I'm just going to let you go, and I'll let you go to the point where it gets to the end of the round. You can go back to your corner, and I'll watch your corner, pop it back in. But don't sit there and start to act like it's causing you a problem in the fight, because that is how the fight will end. So
if I would have been a little bitch in the corner with my thumb, you'd been like, "Okay, it's over."
Yeah.
And so what is that?
That's and think about it. You're going through that whole thing and you don't even know where I'm at. But I stand there off to the side and looking over the top of Bob Cook or Javier, and I watch to see how you're reacting with it. And I see, what is going on. And it tells me, is he being affected by what's going on? Now, I know it hurts. I've seen your thumb. I thought, hey, that doesn't look right. Okay, it's pretty simple when you can see, you go, that's not the way the thumb's supposed to go. But you also see, how does the fighter react with it, and are they being affected by it? And it's everything, because it's going to tell you when they start, having problems in the corner and pointing to their trainers and stuff and all this stuff, and ow, you go, oh, you're done. It's going to end up, or you'll see that they have no freaking concern with it, and you go, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Lazy Bed, Giovanna Perez, and Old Man Dave. Thanks, guys, for being members. Appreciate you guys. Love how you guys are regulating the chat too. It's kind of fun. I actually enjoy watching that. Go ahead, Dave.
From OnlyFans. I'm not gonna read his name because it's but I'll just call him Lord. How about that? Lord. Do you think there's a case for 170 becoming the most deep and stacked division? The top guys at 55 are older now, and Islam is now 170.
I mean, I still think that John and I probably agree on this. I still think the most stacked division now, especially with the addition of Patchy Mix, is 135. 145 is getting a little shallower now because 3 guys just left. You've got Brian Ortega going to 55. You've got Max Holloway at 55, and Elias Tapore is now at 55. So that division is now a little shallower. 55, I think, is getting more stacked. I know the guys are older. Dustin moving on. Justin's still around. He's going to fight probably for the title next after this, the winner. You've got fighters that are there, but like I said,
you got Brian Ortega moving up, Max Holloway moving up, Ilya Topuria moving up.
Yeah, not only that, like I said, though, like the guys that are moving up, those are the guys you want to carry the division. Those are the dogs. Like the Max Holloway and the Brian Ortega, no matter what you think about him, the guy's a dog, man. The guys can take a shot, he delivered. He does in the third round against Volkanovski. How close was he to finishing the triangle and the guillotine? Like he was a breath away from becoming the world champion. So, and he's a dog. Those are the guys that help build these promotions. Those are the guys of the UFC are like, hey, what can we do to keep these guys? Now, I'm not saying those guys can beat the Justins and the Dustins and the Charles, but they're not going to make it worse. I can tell you that. Yeah. Ilya Topuria is a dog, and Max Holloway is a dog. Brian Ortega is a dog. So I look at that. They're a great addition to the 155-pound division. 170 to me right now is lacking a little bit. You know, that's why I think they need to. Oh, go ahead. Give me some. Give me.
Ooh.
It's not. Look, it's not a bad weight class, John. In no way am I trying to say that. It's not a bad weight class. Okay. But there does need to be a little spruce up. I think not just in 170, in almost every weight class.
Yeah.
They need to start adding some more top talent. And whether that's guys that are from the PFL or guys from the old Bellator or whatever it is, they've got to start adding some more.
But you got a lot of fun talent in the welterweights. You got to be honest. You got Ian Machado, Gary. No matter what people think of him, the dude can fight. Okay, he's got a ton of talent. Joaquin Buckley comes in and puts on a show, and we've been watching Joaquin for how long? Michael Morales, just with his last performance, tells you everything you need to know. It's the older guys that you're looking at, and the Gilbert Burns, the Colby Covingtons, the Kamaru Usmans, the ones that were at the top for a long time. Those are the ones that you're looking at and you go, they might be starting to slide out, but they're being backed up by, great talent. So
I would agree. I just would like to see a little bit more sprucing up of that division, because that is a division that has always been one that helped carry the UFC, from Matt Hughes, to GSP, that they've always had a fighter in that position that has helped carry the UFC to the next level. And so maybe Islam gets it done, maybe he doesn't, but regardless, adding him to that weight class, phenomenal. But then, like I said, if you added like a Yaroslav Amosov, because we don't know what's going to happen with Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards, you got Gilbert Burns and
Stephen Thompson. You got guys that they're starting, they're going to be starting to fade out.
They are. I mean, not as soon as as maybe some of us are thinking, but they're gonna, they may linger around a little bit. But who knows? You never see the problem you have at 155 is those guys won't go away. Like they're literally retiring at like number 1 and number 2 positions. Like Dustin Poirier is number 5. He's literally he's gonna retire at number whatever after if he beats Max, he'll be number 4. Like he'll retire at number 4. Like. You know what I mean? Like not many people walk away when they're in the top 5.
True point.
Like, you know what? Let me get one more. Let me get another one.
Can't blame him.
No, and that's what my argument was on Saturday is when you have those guys in the lightweight division, and not just the lightweight, there's some other guys obviously in other divisions. They won't go away because they're just so damn tough. But the Khamzat Chimaevs are so fun to watch fight. They're dogs. Ilya Topuria, dog. I mean, like Justin Gaethje and Dustin, dogs. I get into like I look at Umar Nurmagomedov, dog. Corey Sandhagen, dog. You've got fighters that are out there, man. Aljamain Sterling doesn't get enough love. I know I poked a lot of fun at him over the Peter Yan thing and all that. He's very upset with me about it all. It's okay. One day we'll run into each other and I'll try to convince him to get over it. I like him though.
Oh yeah.
I like Aljo, man. I've always loved watching him fight. He's a great fighter. I got nothing but respect for him. I just had to poke some fun at him about it. The funniest part is he got mad at me, but then he went and did a little skit with Peter Yan about how the knee to the head and they're from like, bro, if you can get over it with Peter Yan, you can get over it with me. Come on, buddy. But there's just fighters, that you look forward to watching fight because every single time it's going to be a great fight. Absolutely going to be a great fight. Someone like Someone's gonna lay it out there on the line. They're gonna go out on their shield, whatever it is. You enjoy watching those guys fight. Like if a Dan Hooker is announced on a card, I'm like, I'm tuning in.
Yeah,
tuning in
because you know he's gonna fight.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be a former champion. I just want to watch those guys fight because that's what makes this sport so great. And we've gotten away from that. And so I know my approach probably wasn't the best on Saturday. But sometimes just things need to be said. And
sometimes blunt is good.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
that's why I got the nickname the Punk.
Andy asks, Josh and Big John, what are your thoughts on Jesse, Bam, Rodriguez, and Inoue, 2 boxers who I feel are top 5 pound for pound, but no one knows who they are. Also,
in a way,
yeah, in a way, everyone knows who he is. They just he don't get any love because he's so small.
That's the problem.
That's the problem, and I think a little bit of the problem is that boxing itself, they pigeonhole themselves into the corner of just the top guys, the Canelo, even Terrence Crawford, never got a lot of love.
No,
he's probably the best boxer in the sport right now.
Yeah,
and we're gonna find out if he ends up knocking out or beating Canelo. I think there'd be no doubt he's probably one of the greatest of all time. He's just he's phenomenal, man. Just phenomenal. Just never got the love. Doesn't get the TV time he deserves. Doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He's fucking amazing. Amazing. And I think that's the problem with boxing. They pigeonhole themselves into like one or two guys that they try to put up on a platform that has to do with the promoters. Like that's the great thing about MMA is they have a platform for every weight class, and they really try to push every weight class because that's their job. That's their business model. With boxing, if they don't have a fighter in that weight class or they don't have a name, then that whole thing is forgotten about. So it's up to the promoters to do that, and they're not doing a very good job with their boxing, with the
especially if you're not promoting in a way because the dude is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
All right,
what else you got, Dave?
Kelly Marana on an OF. She says, Sugar fan, what is more important effective for Sugar stopping Merab's takedown, his jab or down blocking or front kicks?
Ooh, I like this. She said down blocking. Man, Callie, you know your business, girl. I'm assuming you're a girl with a name like Callie.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I mean, you know your business. Down blocking. Look, obviously stopping the takedowns, John. Am I correct?
Yes. If he stops the takedown, he wins the fight.
Yeah.
If Merab doesn't get a takedown, who wins the fight?
You guys can hear that. My house is shaking because of the thunder.
But I mean, it's pretty simple as far as that. Everything else is important. You can take a look at it, but as simple as it gets, the more times Sean O'Malley nullifies a takedown attempt, the more his odds of winning the fight go up.
Yeah, I agree. I think if he can stop one or two takedowns around, if he can stop one takedown around, that likens his chances of getting the knockout or getting the finish.
Yep.
Because I don't know if Sean will be able to win a decision. It'll be tough, only because of the way that Merab fights and the amount of pressure he puts. It's hard to beat those guys. I take a look at like Cain Velasquez when he fought Junior. It's gonna have to be a fight like that. Like Merab's gonna have to fight him how Cain fought Junior the second and third time. He's got to pressure. He's got to grind. He's got to press him to the fence. Probably got to chase him around on his hands and knees a couple times.
But he can do that.
He can. Yeah. He can. And people are like, oh, he's just wrestle fucking him. Well, guess what? That fight
it's working.
Cain's fights were not boring against Junior. And I don't see this fight being boring either.
Dude, Cain's fights against Junior were brutal. Let's just be honest.
I think to me, 2 of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen. Yeah. Actually, all 3 of them, because given Junior the first one.
Yeah, that one wasn't 64 seconds.
Still, very impressive.
Oh, it was impressive, but it wasn't.
That to the champion, very impressive.
Yeah, but Cain had some problems.
I know, but look, if anyone's gonna be biased, it's gonna be me. Let me be biased for my boy. But it's like, hey, Junior went out there and did what he was supposed to do.
He absolutely did, no doubt about it.
And that you got to tip your hat to that, and I do. I tip my hat to that because that's very impressive. Cain came back and got his business done, though. I was there. Watch that one. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, we got a couple more on YouTube here, and then we'll move on. Alex Johnson, Josh has expressed before he always liked fighting fellow respectful fighters. Do you guys believe fighters go too far with trash talking now simply to attract more attention and get more pay-per-view buys?
Some guys do.
Some do. That's it. Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of them, like I was just having a conversation with Bobby Lashley today, and he was talking about how Colby Covington did the whole AEW thing with Dan Lambert, and a couple of the pro wrestlers were telling him like, "Hey, this is kind of how you should say this and that." And then shortly after, he got the Damian Maya fight, and he started spouting off and doing, you know, and doing what do you call that WWE stuff when you cut a promo?
Yeah.
So then, you know, Colby started cutting promos. And next thing you know, he was getting the fights he wanted, and he was winning. And it led to his success in terms of getting title shots. But I think just being able to market yourself is the most important thing. We'll go, John. Were you not gonna say anything?
I'm just gonna go to Uncle Chael. Okay. You want to see what being able to market yourself can do for a fighter? Look at Chael Sonnen, because if you look at Chael's record, it's got a lot of losses on it and stuff, but he has he had some very impressive wins also, but his ability to talk made Chael a very rich man.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. I mean, look, that guy works for every damn network in the world because of his ability to talk.
I was talking about when he was fighting. Now it's another story.
Well, it all led into one led into the other.
That's true. But his ability to talk is, it was legendary.
Yeah. So. I mean, John, I was there watching him one time talk, and I walked away thinking he was talking to Conor McGregor. Trust me. And when he compared John Fitch to Babe Ruth, I fucking lost my mind.
No, you believed it.
I believed it. I'm sorry, if he wasn't making money doing what he's doing, I mean, he could be the greatest car salesman in the world.
Oh, fantastic.
Fucking amazing. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, old man Dave. Hey, Josh. So was Donald Cerrone the one that got away as far as people you wanted to compete against?
No, it was Anthony Pettis, because Pettis had the title. That's the fight that was offered to me. I signed the contract. Deals were done. We were 4 weeks out, and apparently he got hurt. And, and like a week later, he was on the Wheaties box. And so then that meant, and that kind of just meant that he was never really going to be scheduled to fight me. So I was 37, 36,
37. He was 28.
He was 28. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just had a win over Benson, who, and he finished him, and no one had been able to do that really to Benson. Like, it just was one of those things. So, yeah, I that's the fight that got away. Because honestly, at that moment in my career, I didn't see Pettis beating me. My wrestling and my jiu-jitsu was so good. Like, it was so good. I didn't see him beating me. And I knew, because I had trained with him in Hawaii. I knew he was good in the guard, but I knew like on the side control and half guard, he had no answer for me. None. So I just knew, and I knew my wrestling was good enough to take him down. Because I'd been focused a lot on that stuff and takedowns and getting takedowns for the Diaz fight. If I had to resort to that because of the pressure. And then, we had Leo Vieira come in, and with a lot of the guys from Checkmat that were training at AK at the time. And you saw that when I fought against Benson, taking the back, takedown right to taking the back. The transitions were smooth. That's exactly what I was preparing for against Anthony Pettis. And then shortly after I had the Benson fight announcement. But yeah, that was the whole deal. I plan on just destroying Anthony Pettis. In terms of taking him down, control, submission wise. I felt like it was a tailor-made fight for me to become the champ. I took that fight very seriously. Next one, Dave.
Anthony Gutierrez, was Saturday's UFC fight card top 3 worst ever?
No.
What, last Saturday's?
Yeah, the one they canceled main event. And
no.
The very first time 3-time title fight was probably the worst one.
Oh, that was UFC 33.
Yeah, painful.
The very first time in Vegas.
It was it really?
Yes.
Oh,
just everything.
It was so brutal, John. I remember sitting at a friend's house going, man, I'm so sorry we're all sitting here. We kept thinking it was going to get better every fight. Oh, it'll get better this next fight. No.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the next fight. No.
No.
Oh, it's so bad. But I'd say this card was kind of up there. There was only one finish. There was not the one finish. There was only the Dustin Jacoby knockout. He was the only knockout of the night. By the way, didn't get a bonus.
I know, he did nothing.
How do you not get a bonus?
It's because look at everything that happened.
Joe,
they're like, we're not giving out bonuses for this goddamn card.
Give it to that guy.
Everyone's quitting.
Give it to that guy. That guy,
I know.
like, he got the knockout. There was a submission too.
Yeah, he was a little bit frustrated by that. Man. I don't blame him.
All right, what else, Dave?
All right, last one here from Alejandro Gutierrez. What if Jones went back to 205 and won? ? Would he be the GOAT troll?
If I don't know, John, what's your take on that?
Would he be the GOAT troll?
No, like he basically came up to heavyweight. Now he's trolling Tom Aspinall.
Yeah,
and he goes back down to 205 and wins the title there.
Yeah, like if he just said, swerve, I'm not going to fight Tom. I'm just going to go back to 205 and win the belt.
I see him doing that because Alex Bejeda is there for him to fight.
Nah.
And Ankalaev.
Alex isn't the champion.
No, I know.
Magomed is.
He's past that. He doesn't care, John. He's made it very clear he doesn't care.
I think he cares.
I think do you think he fights again? It is pouring down rain. I can hear it in my house.
I'm of the opinion now. I don't care.
Wow.
Just don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are that way. I think a lot of people have that same thought process. What else, Dave?
All right. We have a fight announcement. You guys touched on it earlier, but I'll let you guys if there's anything else you want to get into it with it here. Danny Gay and Patricio.
Yeah.
Pitbull.
The fight that should have been made. But look, I'm excited for this fight because of the one reason. Both fighters are interested in fighting each other. Danny Gay said, I'd love to welcome you. Patricio said, let's sign the contract. It was never given to Dan for him to sign. I talked to Dan at an event in Vegas shortly before his fight and shortly before Patricio's fight because they were on the same card. I had the conversation with him. He's like, yeah. He's like, there has been talk that I might be the guy. Like if something happens, that I'll probably step in. But right now it's him. So but now they've been able to mash this fight up. This fight should have happened already, but this is the one, and this is the one that people want to see. This is a great fight.
Yeah.
The speed, I think the speed of Patricio is going to be, he's going to be faster. I think he's going to. I think he will.
I think they're close to the same now.
I don't know, man. I think the speed, look, I guess here, the initial explosiveness is going to go to Patricio. Okay. Like it's in like that, those first, like, I don't know, just it's hard for me to explain. The first 3 or 4 minutes of the first round and the first minute and a half or 2 minutes of explosiveness is going to go to Patricio. I think he's the faster, more explosive fighter than Dan. Dan's got speed, got power, but he steps in and like kind of mauls you a little bit, whereas Patricio is going to kind of try to keep that distance, keep you at the end of his punches to knock you out. Different styles. One is more of a clubbing, overhand right, overhand left, and some good boxing is Dan Ige. Patricio is more of the, I'm going to hit you long range, which is the jab, lift the head, hit you with the left hook and the straight right, like that kind of style.
Step back, admire my work, and then come back and do it again.
Exactly. So it's going to be a fun fight. Where Dan's got to be careful is Dan likes to put himself into the clinch. He's got to be careful of that arm and guillotine. Like Patricio's got one of the nastiest arm and guillotines in the business. So, and that doesn't go away. I've grappled with him. I've trained with him. He's physically strong. Just, gonna be a good fight though. I'm pumped for this fight. I wish it was a little bit higher up on the card. But is this the opening fight on the main card?
It's the opening fight.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Get the crowd into it.
Absolutely. I look at this. I think stylistically, when you're looking at matching fighters, this one's perfect. Yeah. They both are very similar in the way they do things. Dan's a little bit more of the offensive minded as far as he initiates, where Patricio kind of is the counter striker a lot, but it works for both of them. So can't wait.
Next fight.
All right. We got MVP versus Carlos Prates.
Who's been listening to us?
Yeah. It's not official on any other site, but it's being reported, and I think you guys have said you've heard that this is real.
Dave, all of these things. I'm making it official right now. It's official. Let's just I'm going to send a text to Dana, say, hey, hurry up and get the contract signed. Let's go. If I was Chael Sonnen, I would have you guys believing that I had that conversation with Dana, though. You guys would believe me.
Yeah, I called Dana the other day and I told him, hey, Dana, this is a fight you really need to put out there. And he told me he was really working at it hard. And so I just received word that, that
it just got cleared. Absolutely. Yeah. He's like, look, this is a great fight. The speed is going to give the speed of MVP, even though he's getting older, is going to still give Prates some problems.
Big problems.
They're both long. Just the style of which MVP fights is going to be a problem. I thought he was going to stay at 185. Guess not. Back down to 170, taking the fight against Carlos Prates. Fun fight. Good fight. Well, why do you think they made this matchup, though? MVP getting older, Prates still young.
Yeah, but MVP, you got to give him. He went to 185. He took away that, undefeated record from Bullet. You now look and go, he's looking for fun fights, and he's getting them. He's getting ones that's a fight that I could see why it interests him. And Prates, coming off of the Gary fight, things didn't work out, the way he wanted them to. But at the end, he was showing that hey, he was still in the fight, and he was the one looking really good at the end of it. So I think he's that guy that he's gonna die in the cage. As far as he's gonna die on his shield, he's not gonna ever quit. And MVP is the guy you're looking technically wise, one of the most technically difficult guys to face.
Yeah,
in the UFC.
That's gonna be a fun fight if they get that fight signed, and we can see when that fight's gonna happen. But great fight, great matchup, great fight. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, got a couple more on YouTube and OF here, and then we can wrap this thing up. YouTube, which one is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Alejandro Gutierrez, has a fighter ever been thrown out of the cage?
Has a fighter ever been thrown out of the cage? Not that I know of. There's been the attempt. Tank Abbott was the first one to attempt it. He tried to throw Cal Worsham out. And the whole thing is, now
a lighter guy to try to throw out, though. By the way,
well, it's all heavyweights back then. But it was at the time, it was what would you do? And at the time, it wasn't a foul or anything. So you open up the gate and bring him back in. That's all you're going to do. Well, now if you try to throw him out of the cage, there is a foul involved with it. So you're not going to see someone being thrown out of the cage. We have had people go through the cage. You've had cages where the actual fencing material has broken and they've ended up on the floor. You've seen them go through the doors.
Bobby Southworth.
Bobby Southworth did that. Yep. It's happened, multiple times. So that has happened, but as far as being thrown over the top, you're not going to see it happen.
Yeah. Is it a fine also?
Oh yeah.
What's the fine? Like 5? It's their discretion.
That's at the discretion of the commission. But you got to figure when you're looking at it, if someone does purposely pick somebody up and throw them outside of the cage over the top, is it intentional?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so it's intentional. So now, can the person, continue on? Well, we'll say they can't continue on. So you just lost the fight based upon it. And now you're not going to get paid because it's a disqualification, meaning that the commission is keeping your check. And now you will walk in front of that commission somewhere within the next couple months to try to get some of that money back. And they're going to decide how much they're going to keep. You don't want to do it. It's not right.
Commission's corrupt, man. It's a federal government. So
it's government.
Give us another one, Dave.
Giovanni Perez. Big John was talking the other day about how mentally strong Randy Couture was. Any other fighters that you guys think compared to him in that regard?
Go, Josh.
What was the question? I thought he was talking to you.
Anybody that you think that mentally was as strong as Randy Couture when it came to fighting?
Oh, fucking Dan Henderson.
Let's just say there's plenty.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
When you talk about mentally strong, Matt Lindland was mentally strong.
Yeah, for a guy who had really outside of just wrestling, had no skill otherwise.
No.
No stand up, no real jiu-jitsu. He was just a grinder.
Yeah.
Just, could wrestle, control the top position. He was mentally strong. I mean, you had to be if you had to stand around because he never showered.
He's definitely never washed his knee pads.
No.
Oh man, those are horrible.
But Matt was a character, man. Matt Lillard was such a character.
Yeah. But you know, there's guys like Josh Barnett. Barnett, mentally very tough. Tough individual, mean individual when he wanted to be and stuff. But man, he was tough.
Cain Velasquez for me.
Cain Velasquez, mentally tough.
Yeah, you can't go through what you went through in the Junior Dos Santos fights.
Yeah,
not be mentally tough. Just a different level. Yep. What other fighters can I think of?
Antonio Nogueira.
Yeah,
mentally tough son of a bitch.
You know, we're talking about guys that we call them mentally tough because they took beatings.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go to the next guy, Frank Shamrock. Just somebody who mentally could will himself through fights and his cardio and his push, even when he wasn't in shape, even when he just found ways to oh, you can't break me. He would mentally tell himself that he could get through it. And he could he'd push himself beyond the limit. Seen that guy so many times come in, from doing God knows what, but come into training, jump on the mat, start rolling with everyone, literally roll over, throw up on the mat, roll back over. Okay, touch hands, keep rolling. And we're like, hey, scoot away from the throw up. And then Javier would come over, Frank, what are you doing? Clean that shit up. You can't do that. You gotta clean it up. Okay, off, get up, clean up the vomit, and fucking go back to training.
That's it.
He'd throw some shirts and old shirts and stuff over it, puddle it all up and throw it in a mop bucket, and then take the mop and mop it, and then everyone go back to grappling.
Yep.
Yeah. He was probably, Bob Cook was a mentally tough SOB too.
Yeah, he was.
So, but yeah, Cain Velasquez to me is high up on the list, 100%. So, what else you got, Dave?
All right. Last one here is from Jackson over on OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson's the guy from last week who was fighting with you about Hamzat and Islam. It's a very similar take this week. He says, Josh, if Hamzat lost to current defending champion Dricus, he would be considered a fraud. What about Islam, who lost and got finished to a nobody? You're trying to hurt Chimaev's name to better Khabib Islam.
I mean, you're writing a statement down. I mean, if that's what you think, that's the way you think. I'm not going to sit here and try to change it. I understand what you're getting at. But in any moment, at any time, someone can get caught in this sport. That's what makes this sport great. But look what Islam's done since then. He hasn't lost. He's got one loss in his career. And just want to remind you guys, when these fighters come from ACA or ACB or any Russian, they're fighting some fucking nasty, nasty fighters. It's not like they got to the UFC and now they're fighting the tough guys. No. They were fighting the tough guys there. Sometimes even tougher guys in that promotion. Just the UFC and PFL and Bellator and Ryzen. They don't want to sign those guys because they'd have a whole roster full of them. And so they want to minimize how many people from Russia, how many people from Dagestan, how many people from Brazil. They have they don't personally have regulations on how many they want to have, but they want to make sure that their whole roster is not filled up with one set of style of fighters. And so Islam's come from, and he's beat, and same thing with Chimaev. He's beat a lot of top level world-class fighters. My point is that Chimaev is somebody that I love watching fight. I just gave him a ton of credit last show, and I gave him a ton of credit this show. He's a dog. You can't not be a dog and not get through the Russian fighting companies, as well as when you got dropped or hurt in the third round against Gilbert, you sucked it up and he came forward and still kept trying to win the fight. That's a dog. That's somebody that he will bite down on the mouthpiece. He doesn't care what the situation and circumstances are. He was willing to go out on his shield. He didn't just talk about it. He didn't just say, I'm going to fight to the death and then go out there and snap a jab and a push kick and then run. He actually decided to go out there and fight. That's huge. That's what the UFC is lacking right now. That was my comments on Sunday, was we need those type of fighters, and we're lacking them right now. And the fans know it. They see it. They know it. The pay-per-view numbers show it. The viewership shows it. Everything shows it that the sport right now is not in a good position. And it's because we're lacking those kind of fighters. That's what we're lacking. We're lacking that and the ability to get in front of the microphone and cut a promo. So don't put those two things together. You can't just cut promos and be a shitty fighter. Okay, I know you can get that helps a little bit. Like cutting promos helps you a lot, but you still got to go out there and have exciting fights. You still like John and I were just talking about Kevin Holland. The guy's great on the mic. The guy's fun inside the cage, but you got to win though. It comes a point where like people don't want to see you just keep losing. You've got to win fights. Kevin Holland is in a position because he is fun to watch fight, and even when he loses, he's still fun to watch fight. Sometimes funner than a lot of these fighters that are out there just making business decisions. But at the end of the day, he lost too many in a row, or he lost 1-2, or whatever it was. He's got to win more fights, and I think that conversation has been had with him because he's a fun fighter. He's a fan favorite fighter. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight back in there. But you got to make sure that those two things mix. Chimaev is one of my favorite fighters. I love watching him fight. He's good for the sport. He's good for the UFC. I can't say anything else about it. My concern with him always has been, will he last in the 4th and 5th because of COVID? How's his lungs?
That is the question.
That's a question to be answered. That's all. Yeah. That's where we're going to be at. And can even DDP get to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round? That's the other question. So good times, but this unknown, like this position we're in where we just don't know what's going to happen. That's what makes this fun. That's what makes the sport so exciting. That's what gets people clamoring for Chimaev. Does he have the cardio to get past the 3rd round? We want to know. We're going to find out against a top level guy, against the champion. Yeah. In the granite, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Just want to give you some love for your super chat. Anything else, Dave?
Not as far as questions go. Kelly replies on OF, jiu-jitsu white belt here, but love wrestling, and yes, female. And then shout out to Lazy Bed as always for moderating the chat.
Yeah, man, Lazy Bed. Thanks for holding it down in the chat, man. I appreciate you. And I love what you're doing for us. And everyone else, Giovanni Perez, Old Man Dave, you guys have been awesome, man. Make sure you guys are trying to get in the granite 617. Thank you guys, man. We appreciate you guys being members. We appreciate you guys monitoring the chat. We appreciate you guys talking shit to everybody else inside the chat. It's fun. I love watching. I love reading it as I'm going through. You guys are awesome. And before you guys leave, make sure you hit WayneMerch.com. Check it all out there. And as well as Drink Element. Use the link in the descriptions down below. This is the watermelon that I'm drinking right now. And 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. If you guys haven't tried this product, you guys go out there and give it a try. Try the lemonade salt. That right now is, I think, John's favorite.
It's really good.
So I actually contacted them about only sending you lemonade, the lemonade salt.
Right in my cup.
Yep. And the lime, the cherry lime, black cherry lime, and grapefruit. So John's and high. His high request is those flavors.
Always.
They're best when they're served cold. So ice cold. We're gonna do the lemonade stand. I told you about the lemonade stand, right? It's gonna be. We're gonna do element inside it. We're gonna rim it. We're gonna make lemonade. We're gonna rim it with element, and then we're gonna put a little bit of element inside it as well. And then we're gonna put some mint and top it with a lemon. It's gonna be great. Sell that, and then we're gonna put together some packages for people that want to continue to try it.
Getting fancy.
Yeah, we're gonna get fancy. I'm gonna make this the best lemonade stand ever. You did lemonade salt.
I don't know, man. It's tough to get the greatest lemonade stand ever. Some kids have really put it together, man.
This is Josh Thompson. And my kids are, we're gonna do it right for my kids. Mm-hmm. My daughter and her beautiful smile, she'll be out there, she'll be like holding, doing all the stuff to get people to come through. Same thing with my son. He'd be out there flagging people down off the street. Come on in, we got you. So gotta make that money, man. Put you through college.
Tough.
It'll cost too much by the time they get there, John. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. Oh, did you hear that?
Thunder.
That's so loud.
That's so loud.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. The only problem with you hearing that is that means that in 2 days' time it's going to be here.
I'd be seeing that. The clouds rolling kind of fast. Yeah. Dave, you have thunder down there right now?
No, we had rain, but no thunder yet.
No,
I'm sure it'll be here soon.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for coming into the super chats and also to following us on all the platforms. Subscribe to us and follow us on all of our social media platforms. At The Real Punk on X and again on IG. And we also are available on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, OF, YouTube, everywhere. Thank you guys.
There you go.
John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you.